Baltimore, 1962. We meet Elisa, small, precise, living alone with a routine as carefully structured as a clock. She wakes at the same time every morning. She sets 3 eggs to boil. She masturbates in the bath as the timer counts down. She eats her eggs. She cannot speak. She was found as an infant beside a river with scars on her neck where her vocal cords should have been. She has never known why. She communicates in sign language, fluid and expressive, a language all her own. She puts on her shoes. She goes to work. Her 2 closest people in the world are her neighbors, Giles, the man who lives on the other side of the wall, a gentle, lonely, closeted artist who illustrates advertisements and watches old musicals on television, and Zelda, her colleague and her voice at work, a sharp and warm woman who translates for her, covers for her, and looks out for her with the matter-of-fact loyalty of someone who simply decided long ago that this is what she does. Elisa and Zelda work the night shift at the Occam Aerospace Research Center, a massive, cold government facility full of laboratories and locked doors. They clean. They mop. They empty bins. They are invisible to everyone who works there, which means they see everything. One night, everything changes. And in a sealed tank on the back of a truck, something that no one at the facility has seen before. The tank is installed behind heavy security doors in a restricted room. And the man who brought it here is Colonel Richard Strickland, tall, square-jawed, immaculate in his suit, with the easy confidence of someone who has never doubted that the world belongs to him. The next morning Elisa and Zelda are assigned to clean the restricted room. Strickland catches them in the corridor and delivers his ground rules in the tone of a man explaining something to children. They are not to touch anything, not to speak to anyone, not to acknowledge anything they see. He looks at Elisa when he says this last part. Looks at her as though she is not quite a full person. She holds his gaze. That same night, Elisa slips away from her duties and enters the creature's room alone. She moves slowly toward the tank. The water inside is dark. Something vast and luminous rises toward her through the water. He is extraordinary, humanoid but not human. She comes back the next night. And the night after that. She brings hard-boiled eggs. She hears him in the dark, the sound of eating, and then a long silence. He watches her with the focused, patient attention of something that has been alone for a very long time and recognizes in her something it has not encountered before. Meanwhile, the rest of the facility continues its business around her. General Hoyt, Strickland's superior, arrives to inspect the asset. He and Strickland discuss the creature in the language of the Cold War, what advantage it might give them over the Soviets, what its biology might reveal about survival in space. Strickland recommends vivisection. A scientist named Dr. Hofstetler argues passionately against it. The creature is unique, he says. Killing it destroys the very thing they are trying to study. The general gives Strickland 3 weeks. And outside the facility one evening, Hofstetler meets a man in the dark. He is not who he appears to be. His name is not Robert. It is Dmitri. He is a Soviet spy, embedded in the facility for years, feeding intelligence to Moscow. His handler tells him that the plan to extract the creature has been rejected. Instead, Moscow wants the creature dead. A poison. Quick and clean. No evidence. Dmitri listens. And says nothing. Elisa finds out about the vivisection. She is in the room when Strickland describes it, the creature chained on a table, studied while still alive, then dissected. She is hiding in the shadows. She watches the creature across the room, chained, beaten, diminished, and she makes a decision without words or ceremony. She is going to get him out. She takes her plan to Giles first. She signs it out for him in her apartment, the facility layout, the loading dock, the laundry carts they use to move linen. There is a security camera at the dock that can be pushed to create a blind spot. She has timed the window. She needs a van. She needs his help. On the night of the escape, Giles is outside in the van. Elisa wheels the laundry cart to the loading dock, adjusts the camera to its blind spot, and slips inside the secure corridor. She reaches the creature's room. She coaxes him out of the tank, quietly, patiently. He folds himself into the cart. She covers him with linen. And she wheels him out. At the dock she loads the cart into the van. The creature is in Elisa's bathtub. She has filled it with salt and water. She sits on the floor beside him. She shows him how to sign. He shows her the bioluminescence that pulses across his skin when he feels something, blue-green light rippling like something alive beneath the scales. Back at the facility, the theft has been discovered. Strickland is in a cold fury. He circles Elisa and Zelda in the corridor, asking questions in that soft measured tone that is more frightening than shouting. He looks at Elisa's hands. The scars on her neck. He decides she is not capable of this, she is not enough of a person, in his view, to have planned something this deliberate. He moves on. At her apartment, Elisa is watching the creature sleep when she notices something wrong. He is deteriorating. He needs to be released, but the canal's water levels won't be high enough for another week. She goes to the facility to tell Zelda. She is crying at her station when Zelda finds her. Zelda tries to call Hofstetler. The phone rings and rings. Because Hofstetler is already gone, leaving his apartment for what he believes is his extraction. Instead, at a quarry in the rain, his Soviet handlers shoot him in the stomach. They have decided to tie off loose ends. Strickland, who has been watching Hofstetler's apartment, arrives. He shoots the two Russians. And then he leans over the dying Hofstetler and asks him what he knows. Hofstetler, bleeding into the gravel, tells him what he has to tell. He tells him about Elisa. Strickland goes to Zelda's home. He stands in her living room and threatens her family with a quiet that is worse than violence. Zelda holds firm, until her husband Brewster, trying to help, tells him about Elisa's apartment above the cinema. Zelda calls Elisa the moment Strickland leaves. Run. Release him. Now. And then they are outside, in the rain, moving toward the canal. Strickland is already there. He has found them. He knocks Giles aside, sending him crashing to the ground. And then he raises his gun, and he shoots. Both of them. Strickland stands over them. It is done. And then the creature stirs. He rises, slowly, with a terrible and otherworldly calm, even with the wound in him. His body is already healing itself, the damage closing over from the inside. He straightens to his full height. He looks at Strickland. And Strickland, for the first time in the entire film, looks afraid. With a single motion of his claws, he slashes Strickland's throat open. Strickland drops. The creature turns to Elisa. She is on the ground, not breathing, the rain falling on her face. He kneels beside her. He lifts her gently in his arms. And then he steps off the edge of the canal and takes her down into the water with him. Beneath the surface everything is green and still, the creature holds Elisa as she drifts. His healing moves through her body, the bullet wounds closing, the damage undone. And then something else happens. The scars on her neck, the marks she has carried since she was found as an infant beside a river, the ones she has never been able to explain, begin to move. They open. Not wounds. Never wounds. Gills. They were always gills. She draws water through them and breathes. Her eyes open. She looks at him in the green dark. She reaches for his face. That they lived happily ever after. I believe they did. The water holds them. The green dark holds them. And the film lets go.